Hello, hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome to your morning messages with me, Michelle. I am here to help you along your spiritual awakening and help you unfold, unlearn, heal from all of the trauma from your past life, from your childhood, from past lives, literally from past lives. Our body holds on to all of that. And today's video, we're going to talk about trauma bonds. Oh, trauma bonds. If you've never heard of them, oh man, they are so hard to cut the cord from. So basically, in these morning messages, we are going to unpack why you attract certain people into your life and why it's like impossible to let them go. And normally that stems from some sort of trauma from childhood, whether you were neglected. Whoa, we got a lot of fire going on. Look at this. Holy cow. Whether you were neglected, whether you were shushed, whether you were abandoned. There's so many different things that can happen to us in childhood where we just don't feel loved, right? So then we become adults and then we start looking for that same energy. We start attracting who our parents are. We start attracting the abuse that we went through as children. So I'm going to go put this on my incense holder. So what happens is we become really, really comfortable with the idea that we're subconsciously drawn to people that feel like home. We think it's home, but it's because we're in our trauma. So if somebody was, say somebody had a parent who was emotionally distant or maybe emotionally abusive, they are going to be drawn to date people that are emotionally distant and emotionally abusive. Two different spectrums, right? So when you're in this partnership, you're like this little kid who's just like, oh, this feels so good because it reminds me of my childhood, but you're not cognitively aware of it. And we latch. It becomes a bond. You're bonded to this person now. So now when you're not with this person, you feel this deep longing for them. You feel like a piece of you is missing, but really it's just your trauma. That is not love. A trauma bond is not love. It's literally just a bond that you're sharing. It's two hurt people who have not healed yet in their adult years, and they're clinging to one another because that's what's comfortable. And a lot of times it's hard to cut that cord because we fear leaving what's comfortable, but that's not true love. True love is active. True love is action. It's showing love. It's doing things for one another. It's saying, I want to show up for you. I want to hear what you have to say. It's saying, I just want to sit on and watch you breathe on the couch because I just love you so much. A trauma bond is you need to do this for me. I need to be able to verbally abuse you when I want to. I want to control you. I want to manipulate you. I want to make you feel bad for not doing things around the house. That's somebody living from trauma. That is not love. And, you know, again, it's what we attract. It's from our childhood. So maybe you were around a parent who was always making you feel bad, that you were never doing enough. So now you're married to somebody who's making you feel that way. And that's not love. It is a bonded, it's two wounded people clinging to each other. I'm going to say it a million times in this video, so just get used to it. And I've had probably 3 or 4 different trauma bonds in my adult years, and I am not settling. I am not going to let Michelle go to another trauma bond. I am very cognitively aware when I'm dating somebody or when I'm talking to someone. I'm asking myself, am I buying them gifts? Am I doing things for them because I'm yearning to be seen and to be loved? Or do I just do it because I just want to make them feel good and it makes me feel good and it's just genuine, pure love? But when you're doing something with a motive, right? If you're trying to manipulate them into doing something for you, that's all wounding. that's a wounded relationship. And sometimes I always say there's like universe-driven partnerships where the universe brings two people together. And actually all partnerships are that way because they're all for lessons. But when it's true, like an absolute full fuck yes love. I was just talking about this with a friend and we were watching a YouTube video about it. But when it's like a full F yes, like the full spectrum is you're willing to see your trauma, you're willing to see your wounding, and you're willing to talk through it. You're willing to say, I'm sorry. Oh, that was my little Michelle. I'm sorry. I totally was like, trying to control the situation. I was trying to manipulate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And you're aware of it and you're stepping out of the wounding and you're trying not to do it anymore. That is true partnership. It's when two people are willing to do the work to see each other's shadow. Your shadow is the part of you that you don't want to look at, which is your trauma. And when we are brought into partnerships with people that want to do the work with us, it's so fun because now you feel free. For the first time in your partnership and in your life, you feel like you can just be fully fuck yes, you. Like, this is me, this is who I am. And I have somebody that's with me that is accepting me in all of my shit and in all of my goodness. And they want to help me grow. And they are showing me a mirror. They're saying, well, maybe you could look at it this way, or maybe, for an example, a trauma bond versus a full fuck yes relationship. Trauma bond, there will be tons of jealousy and manipulation. And I don't want you going out with your friends and you need to get home at this time, or you get home at a certain time and they make you feel bad for being late. And then you go into a full fuck yes relationship where it's healing and it's great. There's still jealousy. There's still those moments of, it upset me that you came home a half an hour late and I had dinner already prepared, whatever it is. But in this relationship, it's calm, it's discussed, there's apologies, there's owning up, there's awareness. It's not even owning up. It's just saying, like, what I would do with my partner if I was jealous, I would like grab his hand and I'd be like, hey, I'm like feeling a little triggered right now. I'm feeling like a little weak, like inner Michelle is just feeling a little insecure. I just wanted to let you know. Boom, it's done. You're not holding those feelings in and wanting to lash out, where in the trauma bond, you would do things to manipulate that person to not go out, to stay with you, or you would overcompensate by being like super outgoing and trying to be like, the center of attention to draw the attention back to you because you're feeling insecure that they might be interested in somebody else. So that's the difference between a trauma bond and a healed conscious partnership. The whole difference is awareness and communication. And if you are in a trauma bond, there's no awareness. There might be awareness on one side of the street, which is you, because you're here watching this and you're awake. But if like family members, or if you're thinking about your parents' relationship right now and you're like, oh my gosh, they are so a trauma bond. I grew up in that toxicity my whole life. And you're now seeing it. Well, guess what? You can choose this route. You can choose the conscious partnership where it's loving, there's awareness, there's communication. It's saying like, I get jealous and it's just part of the human nature. And I'm not wanting to control you. I don't want to manipulate you. I want you to see me in my shit and I want you to still love me. And I don't need you to tell me that you're not going to cheat on me. I just needed to get that off my chest and then we're good. Because that's something from my childhood that maybe I fear. It's the fear of being abandoned, the fear of somebody leaving me and choosing somebody else. But when we speak that truth and when we share it with our conscious, awakened, loving, gentle, patient, present partner, they are willing to hear it and they're willing to hold that for us. So if you are watching this right now and you're in a conscious partnership or you're wanting one and you're wanting to maybe take your partnership from a trauma bond to a conscious partnership, it has to take two to tango. You can't do it by yourself. And if your partner's not awake, I'm really sorry, but it's going to be really difficult. I'm not saying you should leave them, but I'm definitely saying like, you're going to have a lot of patience until they kind of like want to do this work with you. And I just lost my train of thought. Damn it. I don't remember what I was going to say. But if you're in, I'm just going to flow. So if you're in that, if you want a unconscious partnership, you first have to always be looking at you. You have to always be self-reflecting and saying, when something triggers you, when you are feeling like whatever it is, you're feeling nervous, you're feeling insecure, you're feeling jealous, you're feeling like lust, maybe you're thinking that like you'll never be satisfied. Like what if you're in this partnership and you're going to always want another one and you're always going to think the grass is always greener? That's a human feeling. We all have that. It's normal. But when we say it out loud to our partner and we say like, I'm having this feeling like it's just me thinking that there's always something better, and I'm just, that's my inner child always trying to escape where I was. So that feeling of always looking for something more, or like, you know, you have an addiction and you're looking for the next high and the next high. It's because in childhood, you were never fully like seen and heard, and you weren't able to be safe in your body and just be chill and be loved and feel comfortable. That's the key word. You were just never really comfortable. You were surviving. And however that looks for you, and I'm so sorry with whatever you've been through in your childhood, but it's just this, like, it's a beautiful lesson because you're like, okay, like I experienced that. Now I know the contrast. Now I can see how I'm bonding with my traumas, how I'm like connected to people that I have this wounding with. And it could be a 15-year partnership. It could be a 2-year partnership. But if you feel like you're in a partnership where there's no love, and it's manipulative, it's controlling, it's a partner always trying to make the other partner feel bad, that's not love. That is a wounded trauma bond. And when you pull away from it, you're going to feel this, oh my gosh, I can't leave. I got to stay. It's like you're losing an arm. And that's normal, because that's literally been your reality for your whole life. But now you're healing, you're awakened, you're seeing, oh, wow, this is what a conscious partnership looks like. This is what I've been yearning for. And I just had 2 clients who I was texting yesterday about this. And that's why I felt called to do this video, because these 2 women were struggling with their partnerships. And I was helping them see that like they can energetically elevate their partnerships by switching into a more conscious one, and to move themselves out of the trauma and the wounding, because they were the ones behaving in that wounding energy, like the gripping, the jealousy, the making the husband feel bad for not doing things around the house. It's just always wanting to like pick on somebody. And that's because they're in their wounding, they're in their pain, and that's what's normal to them because that's what they saw growing up. So that's a quick, like, I know that might not have been quick. I don't know how long I've been talking, but trauma bonds are everywhere. We've all experienced them. They're beautiful lessons, but it's not where we're supposed to stay. We are supposed to, whether it's the environment, meaning like you can still be with that person, but you're not supposed to stay in that type of behavior. We need to unpack it. We need to unlearn it. We need to heal. And that's what I do in my Reiki sessions, because when you are triggered, so if you have a partner that gets triggered, like say your kids are making a lot of noise or they're doing something, or something just really like pisses them off and they respond like so fast, they're not patient, right? That's because they have so much wounding inside of them that it's like knives to their chest when they're being triggered. And what Reiki does is Reiki is a type of energy healing where I will go around and I will hover my hands over each chakra in your body, which is the energy systems. It runs right up the center of your body. And I am a channel for energy, for white light, for good energy. And I push this white light through your chakras, and we move the energy and the trauma and the wounds that you've been holding on to your whole life. And you don't even know that your body is holding on to it, because when you are responding in those triggered moments, you might be aware of it. And you might be saying, why do I keep doing this when I'm aware of it? Like, I don't understand myself. Why do I keep picking up this cigarette? Why do I keep drinking? It's because you have stuff inside of you that is causing you to feel like you need to numb, or it's causing you to react very, very quickly and abruptly in a not so nice way. And what Reiki does, it removes that. It sets you free. Your body becomes clear. It becomes open so that when somebody says something and your kids are being bonkers, you're not reactive. You're just like, oh, there they are. It's like something just runs. It's like that energy, that icky energy just runs right through you. It's no longer like smacking you like knives to your chest. So energy healing and body work and doing the inner work and listening to videos like this is going to help you get out of your trauma bonds. It's going to get you out of your wounding, because it's not even just in partnerships. Like I said, it's how you react in tough situations. Are you reactive? Does something strike you and just make your body like cringe? I did a session yesterday with one of my great friends from childhood, and I was sharing with her how there was this girl from my childhood who, just hearing her name made chills go up my spine. Like, she just was not a nice girl. I didn't have a good experience with her. She wasn't kind to me. She embarrassed me in front of everybody at the lunch table. And as a little girl, like, I still, even in my adult years, I feel that wounding, but I don't feel it now. 2 years ago I did, and for my whole life, but I did my energy work with my mentor. She did work on my body. We did Reiki. We talked through it. And I realized that now I can think of that girl's name and I feel nothing. My body is free and it's open, and it's why I'm able to like love so much and share so much with a positive energy. And people were like, why is Michelle so positive all the time? It's because I've let go of all of that weight from all of the different shit that's happened to me in my life. So now in partnerships, to go back to the trauma bonds, I am now uber aware of when my trauma is bonding to somebody, when I need to feel safe, when I'm feeling like I can't do something on my own. If I'm clinging to somebody, I'm like, oh, Michelle's in a wounding. Okay, I got to pull back. No, Michelle, you can do this on your own. You can do this on your own. And it's still nice to have a partner to support you and cheer you on and be your cheerleader, but I don't need them to do it for me. And then when I have that awareness, I am breaking that bond, and I'm not putting any pressure on that person to do anything for me. And it's almost funny, because when I do that, then they ironically start doing things for me and they don't even know why they're doing it. So it's like an energetic switch. So when you guys might notice this in your partnerships, when you cling to your partner and you're wanting them to do things for you and you're like thinking about it obsessively, they're running away. You're pushing them away. But when you sit back in your own energy and you love yourself and you choose yourself, that person magnetically gets drawn to you and they find you. So that's why the trauma bond can be really like toxic, like that push, pull, break up, get back together, cheat on each other, then get back together. It's also called a karmic connection. So if you Google karmic relationships, you might be in one and they're not meant to last for the rest of your life. They're just meant to teach you that you're in your wounding and that you were drawn together in your trauma. But now that you're healed and you're awake and you're conscious, now it's time to cut that cord, because that's not unconditional love. You're meant to experience unconditional love over here. And you're going to cut the cord. And guess what? You're going to feel like you're going to lose an arm, because your whole life you've been leaning on this bond, whether it's with a person or just the comfort of you feeling safe in your body with an energy that is providing that same comfort. I hope that makes sense. So you're going to feel like you're going to lose an arm. You're going to miss it. You're going to want to go back to it. But when you're awake and you're aware, and you're asking yourself, why do I want to go back to that? Was that really love? Or was it just this familiar, like just this comfort because it's what I grew up with? And that's the awareness that you need to have. Okay, I just went on a long total spiel. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about, which I'm going to pull a card on, is when we're going through these situations and we have these toxic partnerships and we're like questioning ourselves, why am I in this? How did I get here? We start to like get really mean to ourselves. We start to be angry. And I just saw the monkey, which is your inner child. So it's a reminder to have fun, but you're also healing the inner child that is latching on. So if you are somebody listening right now, and I know I have a couple friends in these situations where they've attracted narcissists, A narcissist is somebody who will never apologize. They always think they're right. They will convince you that your reality is false. You know, you might be saying, I feel this way, or oh, you did this and it really upset me. And they'll say, no, I didn't. What are you talking about? And they make you think that you're crazy. So they are complete mind manipulation. They will never own up. They will want to control you. And in the beginning, they will love bomb you. They will give you, they will study you. They will give you everything that you need because they are studying you and they're figuring out how you work. And guess what? When they were little kids, they learned to manipulate their reality to please their parents. They were trying to avoid being hurt by their parents. A lot of times they grew up in abusive homes and they had to do anything to survive. So they learned to manipulate. They learned to how to work other people's emotions and be like, oh, if I play on this person's weakness, then I can get control of them and I won't get hurt. So a narcissist, if you're dating a narcissist, the way you will know is they will never own up. They will always try to manipulate you and control you. They'll want to know where you are and what you're doing all the time, but they'll make it seem like they care, but they're really just wanting to control you because when they lose control, they don't feel good. It reminds them of their childhood. And you have to slowly pull away from a narcissist, because if you try to abruptly tell them that they're wrong or that you don't love them and this relationship's over, they will come at you and they will be relentless and they won't let you go. So you have to slowly slide away and you have to learn to not manipulate them, but kind of learn how they work and be like, okay, if I say this, then they'll be calm. And you start to just say like, yeah, I'm really busy. Like life is just getting in the way, or I'm not feeling good. You make me feel so good, but I just need to better myself for you. And you slowly start to pull away from that person. And remember, they will never apologize. And hopefully a narcissist isn't watching this and then they're learning the tricks and then they start apologizing and now we really can't tell the difference. Okay, I've been shuffling forever. Gaia's gateway, access Earth's inner wisdom. We have the dragon, breathing fire. Interesting. I'm going to read this one because I am not getting any message for it. Let's see what the dragon means. I just thought of Khaleesi from Game of Thrones. I freaking love that show. I so wish it was back on. Dragon, dragon, dragon. Sorry guys, I can't find yeah, I can't find it. I'm looking at the table of contents. Here it is, 63. If 63 means anything to anybody out there. Okay, the dragon says, dragons symbolize powerful nature and elemental spirits as well as transformation. They come to Earth to offer their wisdom and guidance and to wake up parts of our brain and cells that have lain dormant. Oh my gosh, this is so good. This is like your wounding. It's been so dormant in you that you didn't even know that you were in it. I also just got guided to tell somebody out there, when you find yourself like needing to please other people all the time, that's your wounding. That's you, that's your inner child looking to be accepted, looking to be seen, to be heard, to be loved, because you feel like you need to do it for other people. Otherwise, you will feel neglected and you'll feel like nobody loves you, and your soul doesn't want to feel that way. So your human brain thinks, I need to do for everyone else, but your mission, God's mission for you, is to realize you don't need to do a single thing. You don't need to buy anybody anything. You don't need to like perform in any type of way. You can just sit on the couch and breathe and know that you're worthy of $1 million. Know that you're worthy of the best partnership. Know that you're worthy of an amazing car. Know that you're worthy of good food. You know, your mission here, this is what I had to learn, was that it's my mission. My life here is not about other people. We do not, and I just had a great talk about this with somebody yesterday. And I was telling him that like, our mission is not to abandon ourselves and to show up for other people. Our mission is for us to love us. And then once we get to that whole conscious, aware, space and we have that partnership with us where we value ourselves and we don't do things that are hurtful. And we realize that, oh, if we don't do something for somebody, they're still going to love us because we're us, because it's our personality, it's who we are. And our actions don't equal love. It's just us breathing. And once we can become aware of that, that's our mission. That's our goal, is to fully come into our self-love. And then when you do that, guess what happens? You start being able to perform better with other people, and you're not, here's what happens. When you are doing it for others, you're not doing it for acceptance or for the validation or for, for anything else. It just makes you feel good. You're not looking for anything in return. So it's almost like a little kid doing something and looking back to see if somebody's watching them. You no longer have that mindset. So when you're living your day-to-day life, if you are always looking over your shoulder to see, is somebody watching me? Is somebody going to tell me I did a good job? Is this like, that's your wounding. So when you can finally pretend like nobody's watching you, this is what I had to do, because I was huge. I always thought somebody was watching me. I always thought I needed to perform. My house always needed to be perfectly organized and whatever, because I thought I was like not going to be loved if it was messy. But now I do it just because it makes me feel good. And you have to literally do things. So like, as you're doing actions throughout your day, say, I'm doing this for me. I am not doing this with the thought of so-and-so will be happy if I do this. I will make my son or daughter happy if I do this. You just do it and you say, I'm doing this because I'm a good person and it feels good. And other people will benefit from it, but that's not the root of why I'm doing it, because I love myself. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I'm like super passionate this morning. I think my two conversations with those women yesterday really like sparked me wanting to help and to get people out of these wounded bonds, because being with a narcissist and being with somebody that makes you feel bad about yourself is not what you came here to do. And you think you need it and you think it's love, but that's your wounding. And I'm here to pull you out of that. The dragon is going to pull you out. So it says, dragons have a powerful mystical energy aligning us to our soul's mission and to the earth and her healing. This card and its activations will bring a dragon to you, holy cow, to help you make the conscious link to your guardian dragon. Oh my gosh, it will come if you open your heart and call it to you. Holy shnikes. Literally, it's like your banshee. I talk about being other people's banshee all the time. Like I show up in their life and they hop on my back and I guide them to a conscious partnership. I guide them back to love. I guide them to love themselves. So you might have just had a dragon show up in your life. You might have just had somebody so wonderful and so beautiful show up to be your teacher. Either it's a narcissist showing you what is not love, whether it's a conscious person coming in to show you what's possible, whether it's a spiritual teacher, maybe it's a child, maybe you just had a baby and maybe a couple years have passed and you're seeing what true love really is, because now you're bonded with this child and you're like, wow, I've never experienced this type of unconditional love. Why aren't I getting that from anybody else in my life? Why do I only have that with my child or with my children? And we're meant to experience this with all people, but we have to create it for ourselves, and we create it for ourselves by hopping on the dragon's back, and it takes us out of the fire. It takes us out of the trauma, out of the wounding. And the dragon symbolizes healing. You start going to retreats, you start getting Reiki healing done, you start talking with people like me, and you start learning about it. You start watching videos, listening to podcasts. So just search anything that has to do with healing, and you'll see all the self-reflection come up, all the shadow talk, all the talk about like recognizing, okay, I have this awareness that I'm jealous right now. I am a woman and I'm dating a man, and I maybe am seeing him look at another woman, and I know that she's beautiful because I think women are beautiful too. And I'm like, oh, this triggers my heart. Like, oh no, what if he likes her, But I'm going to say, hey, babe, I'm feeling a little triggered right now. I feel like she's prettier than me. I'm okay, but I just want to let you know that I'm feeling like this. And guess what my partner would probably do? He would probably put his arm around me, put his arm around my chest and just be like, I love you. You've got nothing to worry about. And like, I don't need to hear that, but it would be comforting in that moment, as opposed to being manipulative, holding those feelings in, not telling him I'm jealous, then going through his phone later to see if he was texting that woman. Like, that's trauma bonds, that's wounding. And when you're in a conscious partnership, you might say, like, I have this urge to go through your phone right now. Can you help me not do this? And you're just really transparent, and it's fun. And it's like, and when it's with somebody that's willing to show their dirt too, I call it dirt. That's like the dirty part of me, I feel like, but it's raw and it's real. But when you're with somebody that's willing to share their dirt too, oh, it's such a beautiful interaction. And I think everybody out there, if you don't have this kind of partnership, you need to hold out. You need to wait for it, or you need to create it for yourself, because it's out there. The full fuck yes partnership is out there. And when I was watching this video on that, they were talking about the full spectrum, the shadow, the dirtiness, the admitting when you're jealous, the love, the compassion, the five senses, smelling, hearing, tasting, touching, experiencing it. It's like every time you touch the person's arm, it's like electrifying. When you touch their skin and it's like nice and soft, it's electrifying. That is a full spectrum type of love, and it's out there. And don't settle for the type of bond where somebody like wants to control you and to manipulate you. And you can move out of that. And I just was thinking about what I wanted to end this video with, was that when we start to face our dirt and the icky part of us, our ego gets really loud and it really beats us up. And I was talking about this earlier in the video, and then I got sidetracked. I think I pulled a card instead. But the ego will start to really be so mean to you because you were in that partnership. It'll say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would tolerate that. I can't believe you're going through somebody's phone. I can't believe you're allowing somebody to hurt you. I can't believe I let him talk to me that way. That's perfect. It's okay. You needed to experience that. You needed to see the contrast. You needed to see where you were wounded. When you're shown somebody hurting you, abusing you, and you need to reach out if that's happening to you. Number one, we don't put up with that, especially if it's physical. You need to get help and you need to talk to somebody. But if it's a verbal, and if it's just a normal like fighting and jealousy and toxic kind of like mild partnership, you can be so grateful that you were in that partnership, because it showed you your wounding. You can see why you attracted that person, and you can forgive yourself. It's just something that happened to you as a kid and you were just drawn to it. And now you see it, and now you choose differently. When you know better, you do better. And if you need a dragon or somebody like me to come hold your hand to walk you out of that partnership, I will do that for you. I will remind you of your strength. I will remind you of what true love is. I will not let you fall back into that cycle of you leave it, you go back, you leave it, you go back. No, you leave it and you stay out of it. You're going to feel the urge to go back because it's a wounding. There's something that person filled inside of you, but that's not love. So don't let your ego beat you up. Your ego is going to be so mean to you. It's going to tell you that it's going to call you all these names, and your ego is your mind. It's going to call you all these names. It's going to tell you that you're worthless and you're a piece of crap. And I can't believe you're the type of mom that would do that, or the type of dad that would do that, or you're selfish, or you're this or that. That's all your ego. Your soul is sitting back going, all right, when's he or she going to learn that being selfish is what life is all about? Choosing you, doing the inner work to see that, what am I worthy of? I'm going to choose a partnership that makes me feel good. I'm going to choose a home that makes me feel good. I'm going to choose a job that values me and celebrates me. And that's the kind of life we're all being called to move into right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Moving out of trauma bonds, wounding, into a conscious partnership, the full fuck yes, the every senses is satisfied type of relationship where you talk about everything and you talk about your egos together. You are aware, saying, my ego is wrecking me right now. My ego is telling me I'm being selfish. My ego is telling me I'm being a jerk, or that I think I'm going to have something better in the future. I'm never going to be satisfied. and you just say it out loud. And that's how we do our healing. And if you're loving this video, if you're like, oh my gosh, every part of this resonated with me, maybe you need to book a session with me. Maybe you need guidance. You need somebody to help you work through this. Because once you have the awareness, you have it, but how do you implement it? How do you embody it? How do you live it? So my email's in the description box. If you would like to book a reading with me, a Reiki session, if you're local, I'd be happy to work with you and be your banshee, like from the movie The Avatar or Avatar. I love that movie so much. All right, lovies. Thanks so much for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. It's going to be 60 degrees here, so I'm getting my butt outside after all of my Reiki sessions. And I get to spend time with my 2 nieces tonight. I'm babysitting. So if you follow me on Instagram, my stories will be packed with their faces. All right, lovies, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next